Please join me in thanking our Piper, Bond alumnus, Pipe Sergeant Nick Tompkins. Distinguished guests, graduands, your families and your friends, Bond University colleagues, welcome to this 127th Bond University graduation. This morning we will confer degrees in the Faculty of Society and Design and degrees in the Bond University BBT Global Leadership MBA. It's now my pleasure to introduce Bond University's Vice-Chancellor and President, Professor Tim Brailsford.
Well, thank you and good morning, everyone. And what a wonderful day this is. Not only have we been blessed with the typical winter's weather here on the Gold Coast, and for those of you who have travelled from far and wide to be here with us today, yes, this is a typical winter's day on the Gold Coast. Graduation days are always special events. They're special days for the graduands sitting here in front of us. They're special days for the parents, family, friends, supporters, partners, and everyone who has assisted you along with your academic journey here at Bond. I'm delighted that everyone has been able to join us here today, and I pay a particularly warm welcome to those of you who have travelled. Thank you for being part of what I trust will be a most wonderful morning and a most wondrous day. Allow me to commence proceedings by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet here today. And on your behalf, I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and I do so in the spirit of reconciliation. There are a number of special guests who I would like to acknowledge and welcome to this morning's ceremony. I acknowledge our 8th Chancellor, the Honourable Dr. Annabelle Bennett, AOSC, who will preside over this ceremony, and her husband, Honorary Professor Dr. David Bennett, ACQC. We're joined by our guest speaker and honorary graduate this morning, Professor Raoul Morley, AO. His wife Miranda and their daughter Sarah have been able to join us, and it's a delight to see both of you here. We're joined by some illustrious members of the business community. I see Dr. Suhail Abedian, Miss Anne Jamieson Abedian. Suhail is of course the patron of the Abedian School of Architecture. I see Miss Judy Brinsmead there, chairperson of ADCO Constructions and strong friend and supporter of this institution. My fellow councillor, Dr. Manny Pole, Mr. Kerry Watson, other distinguished guests, proud parents, family members, and of course, today's graduating class. Also among us is President of BBT University, Dr. Kenichi Ome. We are pleased to have now been in partnership with BBT University, which is based in Tokyo, for over 15 years, and we will see a number of those graduates cross the podium. Kenichi has travelled from Tokyo to be with us just for today. And around the room, you will see the flags of the nations from which our students have originated. And each semester, the number of flags and the diversity continues to grow. Indeed, our diversity and the international outlook that we have here at Bond have been hallmarks of this institution ever since we opened our doors back in May 1989. And today, in that crazy world of geopolitics, never more so has it been important for our graduates to possess an international outlook and to appreciate the challenges of conducting business, conducting yourselves in a societal perspective across international borders. You each have a copy of today's program on your chairs, and you can follow the proceedings. And I trust that you enjoy the ceremony, but also that you respect and you acknowledge each individual graduate as they cross the stage, because each of them has truly earned and deserved their moment in the sun, so to speak. The first part of this ceremony is a somewhat unusual departure. On rare occasion, the university awards a person of particular merit the award of Doctor of the University, Honoris Causa. This award is the highest honour that the university can bestow on any individual. And Bond University is not in the habit of bestowing this award lightly, nor frequently. Candidates for this award must have made a sustained and outstanding contribution to the university, and they must have truly excelled in their chosen field of endeavour. Indeed, over the course of this university's history, only 23 such awards have previously been made. That is over almost 30 years, so less than one per year. Chancellor, I present to you today our 24th candidate for the award of Doctor of the University, Honoris Causa. And I ask that the candidate please stand and move to the centre of the stage. Professor Morley, AO, is an esteemed international scholar and has served a long career as an outstanding academic leader. His field of expertise is in philosophy and the history of ideas. His research and publications have been in the history of Greek philosophy, the influence of Greek philosophy on early Christian thought, and the apophatic tradition. He is presently working on the essential ideas of the West. Professor Morley was initially educated at the University of Sydney and Monash University and holds a Doctorate of Letters from the University of Strasbourg. He has a long and proud history at this university. He was first appointed as a Professor of Philosophy back in 1989, our first year of founding. He rose quickly through the ranks to become the Dean of the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, and then served as Acting Vice-Chancellor during 1992. Having been very much part of the early days at Bond, Raoul was poached by the University of Newcastle, I think I can use that term, poached by the University of Newcastle, and appointed as their Vice-Chancellor from 1993 until 1996. On departure from Newcastle, he was awarded an honorary doctorate from that institution. Raoul returned to Bond University in 1996 as the university's fourth Vice-Chancellor and President. From 1997 until 2002, he was a consultant, including this university, and in 2002 he was appointed as the Dean of the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences and as Pro-Vice-Chancellor International. He served in those roles until 2013, when after a reorganisation across the university, he was appointed as the Foundation Executive Dean of the Faculty of Society and Design. As Dean, he has successfully led and managed the amalgamation of a diverse and interdisciplinary set of studies. He has overseen the amalgamation of the Institute of Sustainable Development within the Faculty of Society and Design, and he has overseen the introduction of architecture as a new discipline, resulting in the Obedience School of Architecture. During his academic career, Raoul has spent substantial periods as a researcher abroad, notably in France. He has led research projects in the National Centre of Scientific Research in Paris, taught at the Collège de France as visiting international professor, and was appointed a visiting professor in the Sorbonne in 2003. Professor Morley has also enjoyed a successful business career. He has been a consultant to higher education and business more generally. He is presently chairman of Speed 3D, which is an engineering company, a startup operating in the area of advanced manufacturing, and specifically 3D manufacturing of metals. He's worked for the Commonwealth Government and the World Bank. Professor Morley has been Chair of New South Wales Vice-Chancellors Committee, Chair of the Australian Education Office in Washington, Chair of the Australian Vice-Chancellors Intellectual Property and Copyright Committee, and Chair of the Professional Standards Board for Trademarks and Attorneys. He is a Fellow of the Australian Academy of Humanities. His achievements were recognised in 2000 in the Australia Day Honours, where he is appointed an Officer of the Order of Australia. He has also been awarded a Prime Minister's Centenary Medal for service to Australian society and the humanities in classical literature and philosophy. Professor Morley has made a significant contribution to Australian society through his insightful influence on academic discussion in the fields of philosophy, the history of ideas, and the interaction between Eastern and Western philosophical thought. He has made substantial contributions, as outlined above, to this university. Chancellor, one of the criteria for the award of a Doctor of the University is that the candidate for the award must have made an outstanding contribution to society in general, and there can be no doubt that Professor Morley fulfills that requirement. In recognition of his sustained and valued contribution to Bond University as an academic, Vice-Chancellor, Pro-Vice-Chancellor and Dean, and in recognition of his leading scholarship in the field of philosophy, I now ask that you award the degree of Doctor of the University Honoris Causa on Raoul John Morley. Thank you, Chancellor. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now my pleasure to welcome to the lectern our latest graduate, Professor Raoul Morley.
Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor and distinguished guests and graduates, it's a great honour for me. I deeply appreciate it. I've given a lot of commitment and loyalty to Bond University. I've tried to be a builder, and I deeply appreciate this recognition. I'd like to warmly congratulate all the graduates or graduands, you are at this point, I suppose, here today, and recognise their achievement. Also the families who stand behind them, and partners and other loved ones who have helped and contributed. But I think the Vice-Chancellor will give you an opportunity to do that later on in the program. Heartiest congratulations. I've been trying to think if I have any advice to give, but I've made so many mistakes in my life, I don't think you'd be well advised to take it. But I am an admirer of the aphorisms of the rugby player. I promise I won't mention rugby again. Known as the honey badger, Nick Cummins, who said, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. And that's been more or less the story of my life. All sorts of things happened that I didn't expect to happen. And I kind of led myself by the nose throughout my life and ended up doing something entirely different from that which I expected to do. But I would say this, if you get knocked down, just get up again and smile. It's important to smile because that way nobody knows what you're thinking. I've come to see that persistence is a terribly important thing. And you may be somewhat lacking in brains. Maybe you didn't get all high distinctions, but you only got some. But if you're persistent and you know how to get up again with good grace, that is, in my observation of life, a terribly important quality and one that you have to instill in yourself if it doesn't come naturally. I'll say also this, that we face constant change. That must be obvious to everybody. But let me repeat to you an allegory from Plato, the work The Phaedrus, about technological change. Of course, we're dealing with the 5th century BC in Athens. The Greeks thought that all wisdom came from Egypt. There was, according to Plato's story, and a good thing, an allegory is a good allegory if you see something different in it every time you read it. The Greeks thought that all wisdom came from Egypt. There was a famous prophet in Egypt called Thoth. He invented all kinds of things. He invented, among other things, playing with dice. He invented arithmetic, according to the Greeks. And notice how the Greeks were willing to say that the essence of their own culture came from another culture far across the sea. There was no cultural nationalism there. So Thoth invented playing with dice, but he also invented other little things such as arithmetic, geometry, and astronomy. But the king gave to himself the right to check on all these inventions before they were released to the Egyptian public, because he knew a thing or two about his prophets and inventors. Well, the prophets came to see the king one day, led by Thoth, and they said, "O king," what else would they say? And we have a new invention by our leader, Thoth, and of course they puffed it up a bit. You have to puff things a bit. It's like a dean going to the Vice-Chancellor with an idea and, this is the greatest thing ever and so on. So when I was applying for a position in Paris, I showed my referee my application, and he looked at it and sort of looked a bit glum and said, "Il faut mousser un peu." And I had to think a bit, but of course mousse is the French word for shaving cream, and I realised he meant lather it up a bit. So I went away and lathered it up. And so the priests, of course, were doing this for the king. So they said, "Oh, king, we have invented the Elixir of Memory, the drug which will give you memory." And the king said, "Well, what is this?" And so they said, "We have invented writing so that it will no longer be necessary to memorize things. They can be written down." So, of course, the Egyptians had their hieroglyphs, the Greeks had their alphabet, and the little children were taught to write in school in the 5th century BC on wax tablets, which were then smoothed over again. So the Greeks knew about writing, but it was quite new. And, of course, they couldn't write on paper because paper had not yet been invented. So they wrote on tablets of stone, chipping away and so on. So if there was a law to be promulgated or an advertisement, say for a doctor in Athens, this would be put on tablets of stone and they would be shipped all around the Greek islands and so on. So writing was known, but not on paper. So the king thought about this and he said, "You have not invented the elixir of memory, you have invented the elixir of remembering or reminding." The Greek word for elixir, I'm translating here very loosely, as you understand, putting it in the vernacular, but at least I'm not using the word "like" every second word. The pharmacon of memory, the drug which can either hurt you or heal you in Greek. So the king said, "All you've done is invent a method of reminding yourself of things, because you'll write them down and that's all it is, so let's not exaggerate it." Socrates, who's telling the story, goes on to say, "Our memories will become deficient and atrophy because of this invention. They will not be as good as they used to be." And of course, the Greek poets recited the Iliad and the Odyssey to the soldiers around the campfires, sometimes for 4 and 5 hours at a time. They could remember those long poems off by heart to the extent that they could recite them for many hours. And today in India, that happens with the Sanskrit poems, the Upanishads and so on. The Indian sages can recite them for 4 or 5 hours. Most of us couldn't recite anything by heart for more than 2 or 3 minutes, I suppose. But so the point of the story is, and Socrates goes on to complain, that if you write something down, it just looks at you. It's like a statue. It doesn't argue with you or leap off the page and question you. And that, of course, is reflecting the Socratic view of education, that unless there's dialogue and interaction, no knowledge is properly ingested. Or as Socrates would say, the knowledge does not go into your soul. without interaction between people. So a great new technology was invented, but something was lost. And maybe that's the case with every new technology that we meet. Something is lost, some human fitness or some human agility, or some practiced skill to overcome deficiencies is lost. So a good example we can think of today is the calculator. Our academic colleagues often complain that students can no longer calculate things in their heads because this technology was invented as a prop. Something was lost. The other year, or a couple of years ago, I was walking by a restaurant in Boston and the sign said outside, "We have no Wi-Fi, talk to each other." And I thought of the way social media has caused us to lose certain capacities for interaction face-to-face, the art of conversation and so on. So congratulations to everybody, and if I leave anything with you, it's the message from Boston: talk to each other. Congratulations and have a good life.
Well, I'm going to share, before I start, I'm going to share with you what I said when I was first made a judge. After all the speeches, I turned around and I just turned to the audience and I said, how good is this? How good is this to be here for your graduation? It's really exciting, isn't it? I think it is anyway. I see a few people nodding. I see the parents more relieved than the graduates, I think. But before I go on, I just want to just reflect a little bit on what Professor Morley said to us. I don't know, I think when you hear a speech like that, everyone takes something different from it. So I could see that, and it was interesting, I could see there were moments of laughter more on that side of the room than on this side of the room. And I could see moments of recognition on this side of the room that perhaps were not as great as on that side of the room. So everyone takes their own message from a speech like that. But I'm a person who started off my life dealing with changes in technology. So what I took from what Raoul said was really a message about what we do with developing technology. So the first thing I thought to myself as he was talking, when he was talking about the 5th century BC and people thought that all technology and all knowledge came out of one place, it reminded me of the fact that there was a patent office person who in 1901 said that he believed that anything that was ever going to be invented has already been invented. How right was that? Not. And the thing is that, of course, these inventions keep going and we have all to be part of that. But I think the message that I took mostly from what Raoul said was that despite technology, the most important thing is to keep humanity and to keep the contact between each other and to keep all the aspects of interaction with each other that are so important. And that's where technology can change. I mean, it's so much easier, isn't it, just to do a quick email or a message or something on WhatsApp than to ring someone, let alone to go and see them. And yet you don't know when someone sends you something in writing what their face looked like when they sent it. So a yes can be yes, it can be not really, and you don't know that until you do it. So I think the biggest message I took from Raoul's comment was, you can look to the past to see how the future is going, and no matter how the technology changes, you've got to keep who you are and keep your contacts with each other. Now, you'll have taken a lot more messages than that from it, but it was a wonderful speech from a man who, as we heard, has had the most extraordinary career. And the other message I got was, take the opportunities as they come along, because no matter what your plans are, things will change and you've got to seize those moments and you'll end up where he is, which is pretty cool actually, isn't it? So please join with me in thanking Professor Morley again, not only for his contribution to the university, but also for that outstanding message to you all today. Now, as I said, graduation's a pretty good day for everybody. They're really good for the graduands, and you're not graduated yet, so you've got to behave yourselves for a little while longer. They're really good for the parents. But they're also wonderful moments. There are some people here who have brought other family members with them. Some of them are quite young. We want them to be very impressed with the graduation today because we expect them to be enrolling in bond forthwith. But some of them may find this a little bit boring, so if they are a bit fidgety or they want to run around a little bit, please do not feel they should go outside. Please stay with us. It's an exciting day and they've come here to share it, and I know everyone will be very understanding if any little people feel that they just need to move around a bit. So please don't take them out, but we want them to join with us into celebrating today. Now, you know, I've been a student, I've been a researcher, I've been a Bondi parent, and of course I've been a Pro-Chancellor at another university, and now I'm Chancellor here. So all of those experiences for me have confirmed my view that there is nothing like a good education. And the other good thing about a degree is they can never take it away from you. So even if you change what you do in the future, whatever degree you've got here today will be something that you will have with you, that you can always fall back on. I myself did science before I did law, and no one can take that science degree away from me. I've always got that with me, and it's always been a basis for my future. So enjoy the fact that you've got this set of qualifications that you're going to take forward. But of course, part of that has been because of the outstanding experience I know you've had at Bond. And, you know, I've only been Chancellor for a couple of years now, but my experience is that whenever I go into a room and I mention the word Bond, you can see the Bondies. They're the ones whose faces light up as soon as the word Bond is mentioned. And it's a wonderful moment and it's a wonderful experience. And I know that the families that have put so much effort into supporting you here appreciate that the experience that you've had here has not just been a mere academic experience, but a fantastic experience because of yourselves, because of each other, and also because of the staff of the university. And I know that you'll be very appreciative of the effort that's been put in by all those behind me and the rest of the staff of the university into making sure that you've enjoyed your experience here to the utmost. So Bond is a special place and we welcome you all here today. In particular, as I've sat in that part of the audience as a parent, I want to thank the parents and the supporters of the graduands for all of the effort they've put in. We appreciate that it's not easy. We appreciate that a lot of financial sacrifice has gone in to ensuring that these wonderful people here are going to graduate today. And I want you to know that we at Bond appreciate that. I know they do. I know they appreciate it, but we appreciate it also. And we really do welcome you here to join in this graduation today. So, as I said, it's a fun place to be and it's a wonderful day for you all. It is a special day and you will graduate in a minute. I feel like drawing the moment out just so that, you know, we don't want to have it come to you too easily. When I was a parent, I hated that because I was always terrified that someone would stand up before the moment of graduation and say, you know something, not that one. And I was always frightened that would be my child, but it didn't happen. They got through. And my daughter, our daughter, who my husband's sitting behind me here too, and he's part of the Bond family now. And I know that being at Bond was an amazing experience for her and changed her life and enabled her to achieve what she's done today. So we know that all of you in your cohort, we know that you've shared highs and lows together. We know you've laughed and cried, and no doubt you've spent many hours at Dons and Lakeside together. And don't lose those moments and don't lose each other. Stay connected with each other. I don't care how you do it. We'd like you to do it through Bond. We'd like you to become very active as alumni. You'd be interested to know that 3 members of the Bond Council are alumni. Now that's a voluntary thing where they put their time and effort into helping this university go forward, and other members of the council have had children who've gone through Bond who make that commitment to the university because of the pleasure they've had through their children in seeing their achievements. So being Chancellor requires me to undertake some formal tasks, but there is nothing more fun for me than the graduation ceremony and seeing each of you come across the stage to receive your degree, which I'm now going to set in motion. So I now call on the Chair of the Academic Senate to present the candidates for degrees.
Will all candidates for degrees please stand? Chancellor, I wish to present graduates from the Faculty of Society and Design and from the Bond University BBT Global Leadership MBA program for admission to awards of Bond University. Chancellor, I certify to you and to the university that the graduates have satisfied the requirements for admission to the award for which they are being presented.
With the authority of Council, I hereby admit you to the awards for which you have qualified. I also admit those who've qualified for their degrees who are unable to be present today. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the moment of graduation. Please join with me in congratulating the most recent graduates of Bond University. We will now move to the formal presentation of testamus.
Chancellor, I present undergraduates from the Faculty of Society and Design. The Executive Dean will congratulate each candidate after they've been conferred with their degree. Shana Gaffney. Jing Huang. Mark Patching. Sarah Situ. Catherine Omu. Kenneth Brandon Hart. Suraj Kandwe. Casey Gambin. Charlie Rachel Churchill. Sophia Sorensen. Brooke Brown. Ru Ting Kao. Hai Yue Deng. Max Holmes Keane. Dong Sheng Lin. Jing Lu. Shi Ting Mao. Thomas Matthew O'Brien. Luke Sefton. Ilu Sun. Kudakwashe Yekaya. Yiheng Zhang. Jin Ju. Stephanie Albert. Maliha Ayers. Andrew Bucknell. Luke Nicholas Freeman. Megan Herlihy. Hannah Rose Keogh. Emma Nielsen. Daniel Phillips. Akash Prashant. Shivani Sharma. Jade Weller. Isabella Mitchell. Danica Strathdy. Kieran Wilson. Sophie Jakobsson. Athena Meng. David Matthew Henry Waters. Ella East. Ashley Bronwyn Pilhofer. Ruby Spillman. Cameron Dodd. Liam Hartenthaler. Michelle Landon. Evangeline Lily Hale. Justice Pengilly. Caitlin Elizabeth Brame. Cheloni Kodakara. Lauren Elizabeth Ware. Samantha Cottrell. Natalie Holloway. Julie Lynn Anderson. Emily St Clair. Olivia Sharp. The university is proud of its long association with Business Breakthrough University. Together, we teach a Master of Business Administration program tailored to meet the needs of Japanese business. Dr. Kenichi Omae will present graduates from the Bond University BBT Global Leadership MBA. The Deputy of the Bond Business School will congratulate each candidate after they have been conferred with their degree.
Chancellor, I wish to present the following graduates in the Bond University BBT Global Leadership MBA. Satoshi Hara. Junko Ihara. Ikue Imahori. Yutaka Koshiyama. Satoko Suzuki. Taito Takeda. Mayumi Yamada. The following two are not attending here today with us, but watching through the satellite television. Kenji Gomi. Toshihiro Hayashi.
Chancellor, I present postgraduates from the Faculty of Society and Design. Some of the graduating cohort this morning are graduating in construction practice. Bond University has embedded in its mission a strong commitment to be a global institution with international reach and engagement. These programs are designed to assist developing professionals with the skills and knowledge to manage and lead large-scale capital projects and complex infrastructure developments. These programs are particularly targeted to areas of global demands such as Southeast Asia, India, and China. The Executive Dean will congratulate each candidate after they have been conferred with their degree. Himal Gurung. Yasmin Morrow. Claire Shearman. Justin Catania. Paul Gibson. Brianna Lauren Gilmore. Kate Newton. Blair Ratchis. Dhruv Arora. Samara Hayes. Anthony Albert Pompeo Panalino. Yoo-hee Kim. Wenjun Song. Yan Wu. Katie Turner. Nikita Krishna Kumar. Daniel Armstrong. Wening Tai. Minming Chen. Chen Jin. Xiaofeng Deng. Hung Lincoln Lam. Ya Chen Li. Hao Wen Liang. Jing Lin. Bowen Liu. Zhengao Shao. Chien Sun. Shi Wei Sun. Yanan Wong. Jiancheng Liu. Yi Ting Yu. Wan Chen Zhang. Shi Yu Zhao. Yi Wei Zhang. Chao Jun Tang. Yi Wang. Bruno Solaro. Huiji Chen. Gina Kushner. Jinwei Deng. Xiao Feng. Yiming Han. Yue Lin. Lan Mei Lu. Megan Liu. Yanfei Liu. Yang Liu. Prudvi Marisela. Hashil Pareshbhai Patel. Yubo Chuan. Yue Shen. Wenzi Wang. Yang Wang. Yao Dongjing. Jingjing Liu. Jacqueline Gilovic. Cameron Long. Arathi Kanan. Tyler Wilson. Anthony Beer Streeter. Ellie Locke. Shiravan Suhas Bose. Ajiman Paul Turai. Wendy Maria Holdaway. Claire Ashley Hurwitz. Needy Jayant. Cody Morris. Irene Jane Robertson. Caitlin Rodderhan. Rebecca Sims. Arabella Kate Smallhorn. Shreyas Suresh Narayanan. Samuel Tony Versace. Natalie Jennifer Ekberg. Michelle Stewart. Catherine Anderson. Alexander Nason Noshadi. Ekene Nwankwo. Tegan Elise Mann. Amritha Amarendiran. Santhan Ramesh Babu. Teresa Bartels. Peng Wei Chen. Peter Byram. Michael Akudike. Chi Fan. Yim Pan Yu. Chinwei Zhang. Catherine Zhu. Simon Grigalis. Chancellor, the following candidates are presented for the award of Research Doctorate for the degree of Philosophy, with the thesis title, Disordered Eating in Pregnancy, the Development and Validation of a Pregnancy-Specific Screening Instrument, Amy Bannatyne. For the thesis title, The Elder Scrolls versus Skyrim and its Audience as a World-Building Benchmark for Indigenous Virtual Cultural Heritage, Jakub Mikołaj Majewski. with the thesis title, Victim Responses to Stalking, a Temporal Approach to Factors Affecting the Duration and Intensity of Being Stalked, Matthew Raj. Chancellor, the valedictorian has been selected to give the valedictory address on behalf of the graduating cohort this afternoon. She is graduating with a cumulative grade point average of 3.78 out of a possible 4. All of her graded coursework results were either distinctions 2 or high distinctions 7, and she has been placed on the Vice-Chancellor's list for academic excellence on 2 occasions. Graduating with a Master of Psychology Clinical with high distinction and a cumulative percentage average of 86%, Julia Louise Say.
Good afternoon, Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, staff, family, friends, and most importantly, my fellow graduates. I feel very honoured to be representing all of you today, and I want to congratulate each and every one of you on this momentous achievement, the long-awaited graduation day. A day I'm sure most of us at one point or another questioned if we would ever reach, definitely wished it would come sooner rather than later, and perhaps now that it has arrived, have a bittersweet feeling about it, as it reflects a beginning of the end. But what a journey it has been, filled with the good, the bad, and sometimes the ugly, because let's be honest, it can get pretty ugly at the MLC when you're there at 1 a.m. the night before an assignment is due. I was asked to share my personal journey at Bond with all of you today, and I have to admit this made me a little nervous, as I am not one for public speaking. But I accepted the challenge. And in that moment, I was reminded of a quote that I think sums up my experience at Bond perfectly. A comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there. I moved up to Bond from Melbourne in 2015 to complete my graduate diploma in psychological sciences, or for those of you who are psych students, the dreaded 4th year. 4th year is notoriously difficult to get into, where high grades are your entry ticket into pursuing a career in psychology. I, however, was not sure what I wanted to do when I began my undergraduate degree, and getting HDs was not my priority. During my undergrad, I worked, I travelled, I socialised, and in between that, I studied. So in my final year, when I decided I wanted to pursue a career in psychology and realised that I needed to complete a bare minimum of an honours degree or equivalent, I applied to just about every university in Melbourne, Brisbane, and the Gold Coast. And the day before my graduation, I received an offer from Bond. I was both excited and nervous. This would mean leaving my friends and family behind to move to a new city where I knew no one and would be completing one of the most difficult years of study. But I decided to step out of my comfort zone in pursuit of a career I was passionate about, and I achieved things academically I had never dreamt possible. I fell in love with Bond. It was a stark contrast to the university I had attended in Melbourne, where I was one of 2,000 in my year of an arts degree alone. Here at Bond, I knew my lecturers by name, and they knew mine. Tutors were there to help, and I made lifelong friends in my classes. There were sports teams and clubs and events. Whatever you were into, you could find other like-minded students. This is something that I believe that is very unique to Bond, and certainly made my experience of stepping out of my comfort zone a rewarding one. However, fourth year for me was all about getting good grades, as I had set my sights on getting into a Masters of Clinical Psychology. And again, this was a highly competitive degree. For those of you who aren't familiar with psychology, it requires a 3-year undergraduate degree, a 4th year degree, plus a master's degree or a 2 years professional pathway. So with the help of some very knowledgeable lecturers and tutors, the support of my fellow students and family, as well as some serious grit and determination on my end, I got the grades I needed to and was accepted into the Master of Clinical Psychology here at Bond. That first day of Masters in 2016, I recall experiencing that same feeling I had on all my other first days at school or university, which was a feeling of being entirely out of my comfort zone. However, Masters, while extremely challenging academically and mentally, facilitated the greatest personal growth within me, and I believe has been monumental in shaping the person I am today. The greatest lesson I learnt during Masters was that of balance. A lecturer once told me very early on in Masters, this is the time to set up how you're going to approach your working life. And working tirelessly at the cost of your well-being is not sustainable. This was news to me. I mean, I had heard of this lucrative term work-life balance being thrown around by others, but they weren't uni students. They didn't know what it was like to have to get HDs. They could just work these 9-to-5 jobs and not have to go home and worry about assignments or this ever-looming thesis. I'm sure it sounds quite familiar to some of you. But my lecturer was right. This wasn't going to end when I finished uni. Whatever I did in life, there would always be more work or something else I could be doing, always another thing on the to-do list. And I realised that my work-life balance looked more like a swinging pendulum than a balanced scale. During undergrad, it swung very far in the life direction. Then fourth year, it had swung totally in the direction of work. Even during semesters, the first 6 weeks, my pendulum was a lot further in the life side of things. And before I knew it, I had 8 assignments due in 4 weeks, and the pendulum quickly swung to the work direction. By week 8, I think I alone was funding Uber Eats on the Gold Coast. So once again, I challenged myself to push the boundaries of my comfort zone, and I made the choice to try this thing called balance. And I believe it was this choice, this step outside of my comfort zone, that enabled me to thrive during Masters and remain sane while doing it. So if there's one thing I challenge all of you to do in whatever career or life path you embark upon, it is to continue stepping outside of your comfort zones, as this is where the magic happens. Learning comes from mistakes, for we don't challenge ourselves or grow when everything is going perfectly or everything is comfortable. As the saying goes, better an oops than a what if. But in doing so, remember to retain an aspect of balance in your lives, as it is with a sense of balance that success will follow. Lastly, I would like to extend thanks on behalf of the graduating cohort to everyone both present and absent that has played a role in getting all of us to this moment. To the faculty and staff, we thank you for your wisdom, encouragement, time and support you have shown us throughout our time at Bond. To the family members, friends and partners who have shown us love and support even during those times when we may not have been so easy to love, and for the many of us who relied on your financial support to enable us to pursue our dreams, we thank you. And lastly, to my fellow graduates and my Masters cohort particularly, thank you for making this journey such a momentous one. There has been blood, sweat and tears, but also many laughs, a few too many glasses of wine, and friendships that will last a lifetime. I wish you all the best in your future endeavours, and I look forward to seeing the positive imprint you make upon this world. Thank you.
And thank you, Julia. So you've heard Julia's outstanding academic record. You've now heard her speak, and she spoke about taking herself out of the comfort zone. And as she admitted, public speaking does not come naturally to Julia. But I did see, I suspect, members of your family sitting down here have travelled up from Melbourne, and I think it might be your proud dad just sitting there. And Julia, everyone was in awe of you. You did marvellously well. You were humble, you sent an insightful message, and you did not appear to be out of your comfort zone, standing up here in front of over 1,000 people. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please again thank Julia Say for a valedictory address. So we're coming to the end of formalities, and at this university we have a tradition, which is the Vice-Chancellor's charge. So in addition to wearing some fancy dress on occasion, at each graduating class I read out a charge. Essentially, it's a set of questions to our graduating class, and at the end of that charge I'll ask them whether or not they wish to accept. So will the graduates please be upstanding? So to the most recent graduates of Bond University, I charge you as graduates of Bond University to demonstrate at all times the highest moral and ethical standards, to apply your learnings and education to the benefit of society, to pursue the highest standards in all your endeavours with excellence always your aim, and to forever support and enhance the reputation of your university through engagement as proud alumni. Do you accept that charge? Yes. Very good. Thank you, graduates. Please be seated. So as the Chancellor noted earlier, there are many people to thank, and as our valedictorian noted, she thanked on behalf of the graduating class. Many people both here and who are not able to be here. Can I also add the university's thanks to all of those of you who are in the room who are not graduates today. We understand, and on behalf of the graduating class, that their journey has been unique to each individual, and every single one of them has not been able to do this alone. It's through your support, through various means, through your warmth, through your love, through your care, through your words of advice, through your financial support, and I guess most of all, through your support of their ambition. And today is the result of their ambition. Can I also thank a number of people who are not directly connected with some of the graduates, but who have provided financial support to the university and indeed through scholarship. And some of you will have been the beneficiaries of those scholarships and not even know who the people are. But I'm looking at a few of them in the room right now. Sahale, Anne, Judy, Trevor, Ronnie. And there are many others like that. So please take an opportunity to reach out to not just the people around you, but the wider set of supporters that you have had. And if there are people who are not able to be here today, and I'm sure that for almost everyone here there are some people who are absent, and they are in other cities, in other towns, in other countries, please reach out to them as well. Let them know that you're thinking about them, let them know that you care. Do not do it by text. Do not do it by Facebook. As Professor Morley wisely gave you some advice, speak to them. Okay, use a telephone for what it was originally designed to do. As you move on to the next journey in your life, I trust you look back on these days here at Bond University with much fondness, and I trust you look back on these days as being a launch pad or a platform which has enabled you to succeed. But recognise that the benefit of education has a weighty responsibility associated with it, and that is to utilise that education to the best of your abilities, as you have just accepted in the charge. And you need to utilise that education and apply it wisely. not just in a technical sense, but in a human sense as well, which means exercising discretion, making sure that your moral compass is pointed in the right direction at all times, ensuring that the decisions that you take are ethical, ensuring that your behaviours are appropriate. Because your reputations are now inextricably connected with this university's reputation. And it's not the magnificence of the surrounds of this campus, or the excellence of the academic staff, or the professionalism of the support staff that we have here that really forges our reputation. It is you. It is you as graduates of this university and the almost 30,000 that have gone before you. It is your behaviours and the standards that you set by which you will be judged and this university will be judged. It is a weighty responsibility, and I trust that you understand that responsibility and that you forever, every single day, recognise that is a responsibility which you must exercise and exercise well. I wish you luck. You will need a little bit of it from time to time, and you will always be welcome back. Next year, the university will celebrate its 30th anniversary, and you are now part of the much larger alumni of Bond. You're all welcome back, but you'll be especially welcome back next year in May. We're planning one hell of a party. You're invited. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been extraordinarily patient. Thank you for your attendance. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for acknowledgement for each of our graduates. Before we end, I think it's time to try and raise the roof a little, and for the last time, make a lot of noise for those graduates from Bond University.